All right. Welcome back to Las Vegas. We're live here on the Mountain West Network. Thank you again to our gathered media who are here for participation in this 2023 Mountain West Football Championship press conference. We're now joined on stage by the Commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Nevarez, who at this event a year ago, Commissioner, we introduced you to the Mountain West, and what a year it's been.
What a year indeed.
Yeah. So let's start off with an opening statement from you and some exciting news that we have to talk about here in the Mountain West today.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse, and thank you, everyone, for being here and covering us in person. It's really important to us and to our student athletes, so really appreciate the travel. As you know, we were highly competitive in 2023. We were one of 6 leagues that at least had half its team have 7 wins. Our 2 teams competing in this year's championship weren't decided till the last Sunday of regular season. And the winner of this game will advance to the LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. We had 7 bowl-eligible teams this year, and since this championship started in 2023, we've had 6 or more bowl-eligible teams each year for the last decade. And as you know, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary here in the Mountain West and couldn't be more excited. San Jose State, it was announced they'll be facing off against Coastal Carolina in the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl on Saturday, December 23rd. And the rest of our bowl matchups will be announced on December 3rd. This is UNLV's first appearance in the Mountain West Championship game, and we'll be hosting, as folks have mentioned, in the spectacular Allegiant Stadium, and we're really excited to be here and in this city. Boise State, it's making its 7th appearance in the championship game. And we both know Boise State travels well, and we're expecting great crowds tomorrow between the locals and our visiting team. Really want to thank the city of Las Vegas for embracing this championship and the Rebels run all season, and welcome all of our travelers from out of state supporting the Broncos. The other big news Jesse referenced was the announcement this morning about a scheduling agreement with Oregon State and Washington State. We're really excited about this enhancement to our student-athlete experience, allowing them to play 2 Western region institutions that look a lot like our schools in the Mountain West Conference. And we truly believe the competitive strength of schedule add that these 2 teams will bring to our league really helps enhance our positioning for the expanded college football playoff. So, this is all about the student athletes and the 2 teams here today. That concludes the things that I wanted to say, but I'm happy to take any questions.
If you have a question for Commissioner Nevarez, please raise your hand. We'll get you the microphone if we can state our name, affiliation, and then also we'll have a question and a follow-up. If you have more questions after that and there are no further questions, we'll get the mic right back around to you.
There's a lot of questions.
Kyle Bonnegar with ESPN. Gloria, can you just kind of walk us through the discussions with both Washington State and Oregon State about what this scheduling agreement should look like and could look like, and then maybe the potential for similar structures in other sports?
Well, the scheduling agreement that was announced, is in the 7+1 football model, and a good group of folks back there in the Mountain West Conference that worked on several different versions to get to that. So really was a key part of the discussions. But also I think, both schools had a lot of unknowns, and this certainly is a case of first impression as far as trying to come up with an agreement like this. So it was a lot of firsts, a lot of trying to figuring out, what it should look like, how it should be structured. Those are not part of the current agreement.
Right, there's like the potential for to have those discussions without something.
TBD. Yeah.
Down here in front to the left.
It was a lot just getting the football.
There was a lot of discussion about, BJ Rains with Bronco Nation News. There was a lot of discussion about the tiebreaker scenario this year when it came down to the 3 teams. How do you think, with the computer rankings and everything, what you guys had in place, what did you just make of that? I don't know if you heard any of the criticism or talk about that, and do you think that was a fair way? Does that need to be tweaked at all? Or?
Yeah, thanks for the question, BJ. Good to see you. Our tiebreaker was a perfect storm this year, 3-way tie that actually broke down to the 3rd level of our tiebreaker, the first being head-to-head, the second being CFP ranking, the 3rd being the computer ranking, which certainly generated a lot of debate. One, good problem to have when you have that many competitive teams. Second, as staff pointed out to me, during it that even if we hadn't changed the tiebreaker, even under our old tiebreaker, it would have had the same result. But the whole point of going away from divisions was to position our two strongest teams in our championship game to best position ourselves for the expanded playoff. And so what computer rankings bring, whether you agree with them or not, is a numerical way to measure the entire body of work, non-conference and conference season. And by taking an average of the multiple computer rankings, hopefully you mitigate or smooth out any of the different idiosyncrasies within each ranking. Whatever the sport, whatever the method, people can always take issue with it, but I really think that what we have available to us in the environment to quantify and measure football, I think it's a very workable system.
I guess with the computer rankings themselves, some were saying some of those were kind of outdated. I mean, do you think that when those 4 rankings that you picked, I mean, is that going to be up for discussion at all in terms of maybe some more newer models, or are you happy with the computers you're using?
Well, certainly, because we changed it last year, and as the new playoff evolves, we look at these things every year, and not just the tiebreaker, our championship format, our regular season format, our non-conference scheduling guidelines. I don't think you can look at any one thing in a silo, but constantly evaluate all the levers that a conference touches every year based on the health of your league or the strength of your league. Because I think your answer changes on what is best for the league based on the strength of the league at any one time.
John Wistro with the Idaho Press. Gloria, just with the 7+1 format, is it as, obviously there's going to, schedules need to be reworked. Is it as simple as taking one off your already pre-existing rotation, or you have to make a whole new rotation?
For me, it was really simple because I just asked our guys back there to work through it. But no, it was not simple. It took a lot of machination and a lot of effort and a lot of massaging to be the least disruptive in year one and to honor the games that were already on some non-conference schedules, but also to keep the strength and balance in our current regular season schedule.
So is there going to be a new rotation, or just kind of keep the same one?
A little of both.
Jay Tuss, KTVB. Talking a little bit about the partnership. Obviously, the Pac-2 or whatever is left of it is in an interesting position. Does the Mountain West have to do anything to protect themselves from keeping the Pac-2 alive and then maybe them coming at your own teams later on? Is there any type of agreement that had to be made where if you help out Washington State and Oregon State that wouldn't happen later on down the road?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the details of the agreement besides what you saw in the press release. I will say that honestly, isn't that today's environment for every conference, not just the Pac-12 or the Pac-2, but conference expansion and realignment used to be a once every decade issue, and now we think about it weekly. So whether it's from the Pac-12, any other league out there, it's just the environment. Now, hopefully, with the most recent movement, we get some settling, because I think media deals have been locked up, and so we might see some stability for a while. But we think about membership expansion threat weekly and have a subcommittee that we engage regularly to constantly look at the horizon.
Ed Grain, Review Journal. Hello.
Hi, Ed.
We talked earlier this week about you have a foothold here in Vegas for a lot of things. How, I guess, good is it in your mind that you have a fresh team like UNLV at their home stadium here that hasn't done this in the past, that you can have a fresh team come into this thing that it just hasn't been here?
Well, certainly, and we've talked about it earlier here in this room about what Vegas means to sports. It really has evolved into the sports town. I was joking with Coach Odom when he came in, hey, welcome to the league. Here's a championship. Come on in. I think it's just a great story by the student athletes and the coach and the administration here at UNLV. But certainly it raises the profile of any event associated with Las Vegas in having a school in this market and a fan base, as well as what this market is to sports.
Maybe this question's better for the football guys in the back, you said. But
Go for
it. Just in terms of how the details are going to work out, does Washington State or Oregon State have any say in the teams they play, or do you just give them games and the right amount of games? And then kind of what John was saying, I mean, is there like the 7 games, is it just plucking one from the 8 games already on the schedule and replacing it, or do you have to redo the entire league schedule?
So much like any conference schedule, even though they won't count towards conference standing. We created it, meaning our staff, meaning mostly John and Brett. But so no, they didn't get a say in it, just like most of the teams in the league don't get a say in who we play or schedule. The second part of your question was, how did we pluck? Was that it?
Are you redoing the entire conference schedule, or just taking one game off the team schedules and putting Oregon State or Washington State on there?
The latter. We were aiming for the least disruptive, given the timing and how close we are to next year's season. Right? Yes.
With the use of Allegiant Stadium, what the perfect storm for you guys? How crazy is it? I think that you guys don't even get access to it or control of it till 3:30 a.m. this morning. What is it going to take to kind of pull all of this off? And will it be UNLV's field? Will there be any Pac-12 stuff left over? Do you know? Okay.
Sorry, did I react like? No. No, it is not an easy thing. It is a challenge. Our staff's going to be working around the clock. Not a lot of hours in the rack, so to speak. But large event town, large event turnover. So we have every confidence that this is going to be a great experience for the student athletes, and it will look like a first-class Mountain West championship.
What do you think of the overall setting and matchup of this game, too? I mean, Boise State, one of the bigger group of 5 brands, and you get to play it in Las Vegas. So just the whole makeup of this thing, what are your thoughts?
Well, as I said in the beginning, I think we're really excited about the number of tickets being sold, the fans, the excitement in the town, and, you know, the competitive matchup. And that's what you hope for and want in your championship game. And again, I think it's a product of how deeply competitive we were this year.
I just want to clarify something that's been reported earlier about this deal. You know, schools like Boise State, who play Oregon State next year already on the schedule, will they also be playing Washington State as well, or is the Oregon State going to be the +1?
I'm going to defer to the guys who are nodding back there saying they will also be playing.
Existing non-conference games stayed on.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
I just want to clarify that.
That's Brett Gilliland, G-I-L. No, I was kidding.
Hi, Gloria. Matt Fortuna, The Inside
Hey,
Zone.
Matt.
I know there's stuff that's out of your control in regards to Pac-2, but what do you need to see something go off without a hitch to do this again for 2025 with those 2 schools, or what will determine the kind of long-term viability of an arrangement like this?
Yeah, well, the nature of your question, do I need to see something that goes off? It's less about what our experience is going to be. I have high confidence it's going to be a positive for both. The question is, what is the environment going to look like? What is the result of their legal proceedings? Those are all TBDs that we just thought better. Let's get 1 year under our belt and then reassess for a second. So not for lack of concern or for concern that it'll be a negative experience in any way, but just the complete unknowns that are out of our control.
And was there any internal resistance to this? I mean, obviously it's a complicated issue and you got to get all the schools on board, but were there some schools saying, why are we helping them essentially?
No internal resistance. It really was technical, new, different, a lot of attorneys. So it was really an exercise of crossing the T's and dotting the I's in something that none of us had experience in.
Pat Chun spoke about a little over an hour ago. He confirmed that it's about $14 million that those schools will pay the Mountain West or somewhere in that range. What is the plan for that money? Is it distributed to the various campuses? Is it stored at the conference level? What is the plan there?
Well, under the category of the unknowns, cover much like any surplus revenue that comes into the conference, be it from this agreement or sponsorships or ticket sales, everything comes in, covers expenses, and then any surplus is looked at by our legal and finance subcommittee. We make a recommendation of where and how it should be allocated, and then they bless, and then the board blesses it. So it'll be a holistic look at what our finances are at the end of the season, and this will just be one piece of it.
Any additional questions for Commissioner Nevarez? Thank you.
Wait,
Oh, we got one in the back. Oh, all the way in the back. Thank you. Good eyes.
said nobody ever.
John Mark, KTB, Boise, Idaho. You kind of talk about media, kind of talk about the stories. When it comes to kind of this championship matchup, what are a couple of your favorite stories, just either from the Mountain West football season or especially this championship game?
From my perspective, first year on the job, having such a competitive race during the football season, the highs and lows, the things you can't control in a conference office of how competitive you are on the field. And that's what we really like to see, and that's what a championship should culminate in. So for me, that really is the highlight or the special thing about this season.
Anything further in the room? Commissioner, we appreciate your leadership and look forward to a fantastic game day.
Thank you, Jesse, and thank you again for being here. Appreciate y'all.
We'll be back with the Boise State Broncos here after a timeout.